Hey folks, excuse me, Levi here once again. Welcome back to another review. Hope you all enjoyed my review of Justice League Christ on Infinity Years Part 3. This is my Deadpool Wolverine shirt, which is, speaking of, I've been doing a superhero marathon, guys. Remember to check the channel, Levi McNally 983. Yes, this channel. Do not sub to the one with the bad mask of the Phantasm profile picture. If you want to see more content, more videos, reviews from me, or different kind of videos from me, which I will do on this channel eventually, different videos, and stuff, um, stick on this channel. But anyway, guys, I've been doing what I call a superhero. I've been doing a superhero marathon on my new YouTube channel and or backup channel, if you want to call this backup channel, whatever. But I've been doing a superhero marathon. I've been doing what I call the 2020 era superhero reviews. These are superhero movies that came out in the years, we're living decades we're living in now, 2020s, starting with the year 2020 to the year we're living in now, 2025, and the year of that. And I am on the year 2024, and this movie came out in July. I wish I would have saw this in theaters, and I did not. But this film is an MCU movie. This is the 34th film in the MCU, as you can tell by my shirt. That is Deadpool and Wolverine, and this is the sequel to the first Deadpool that came out in 2016 and Deadpool 2. And I love this movie. This, in my opinion, this was the best Marvel movie, MCU movie. This is the best one. Probably the last, in my opinion, will probably be the last great MCU movie. Second, I would say Spider-Man: No Way Home. You know, but I would say this is the best one since Endgame. I don't care about Avengers movies coming out. I don't care about Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts. I got a feeling I think those will suck. Let me see. Am I reading anything other MCU after this? I don't think so. But this movie was freaking awesome. Now I did have a little bit of issues here and there, but nothing too bad. This movie, let's just put it this way. Let's fucking go with this review. This movie was awesome. You can suck it, Fox. you know. But anyway, I get the yeah, and we get to see Wolverine in his costume, in his suit. That was awesome, you know. But this movie was very fun. Now this is the I got the film on Blu-ray. You do have gag reel, you have deleted scenes, Finding Madonna, making the other practical approach. The legacy heroes, I guess, talking about the making of the movie and stuff. I believe yeah, this movie deals with like the multiverse and stuff. Sorry, the multiverse of stuff, and you see Lady Deadpool and a bunch of other Deadpools and just Deadpool and Wolverine teaming up. Yeah, and this film, of course, yeah, I got it on Blu-ray. Yeah, this movie is not for kids, even though it's an MCU movie. Parents, don't let your kids watch this. I don't think they have this movie on Disney Plus. They shouldn't put it on Disney Plus. I'm sorry to say it, but this film is rated R. This has strong bloody violence, language throughout, gore, and sexual references. Yeah, this film is rated R. These characters, Deadpool is a merc with a mouth, the merc with a mouth, and Wolverine. They're both anti-heroes, so they kill. They swear in here a lot. They cuss. They kill, and you do get a lot of blood and gore in this movie. So yeah, you might not want your kids to watch this movie. The Deadpool films, all three of them, they're not for children. But anyway, let's get into how the film came to be. For the production, after the success of the first Deadpool movie in 2016, 20th Century Fox began developing two sequels. The third film was set to include the superhero team, the X-Force. Deadpool director Tim Miller chose not to return for the sequels due to creative differences with star Ryan Reynolds, and David Lynch was hired to direct Deadpool 2. In November 2016, Fox was looking for another filmmaker to develop the third film. In March 2017, Deadpool and Deadpool 2 co-writer Britt Reese said X-Force will be introduced in Deadpool 2 before starting a planned spin-off film that will launch something bigger, separate from the third Deadpool, which would be more personal. When the 20th Century Fox by Disney was announced in December 2017, Bob Iger, the CEO, said Reynolds' Deadpool will be in the MCU. This was despite those films being rated PG-13 and the Deadpool films being rated R. He was willing to make a rated R Deadpool films as long as the audiences know what is coming, and said a Marvel R brand to be creative for characters like Deadpool. It's Deadpool. You have to have Deadpool rated R. You cannot, like I said, he is an anti-hero. He is a murderer with a mouth. He is an assassin, pretty much. He does kill brutally too, but jokes around a lot about it too. But you cannot. Yeah, his character is not for kids. You know. Yeah. In May 2018, Reynolds said that a third Deadpool film may not be due to the shift of the focus to X-Force. Recent's writing partner Paul Warnock said a third film would happen after Reynolds took a break from the character and the X-Force film was released, similar to the MC crossover The Avengers with Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. At the end of May 2018, Leach expressed interest in returning for another Deadpool film depending on the schedule. A third Deadpool movie was believed to be in active development in August, which production planned to take place in Atlanta, Georgia, rather than Vancouver, Canada. Once Upon a Deadpool, PG-13 version of Deadpool 2 was released at the end of the year. It was watched carefully by Disney and Marvel Studios to see how it might inform the approach to the character in the MCU. While promoting Once Upon a Deadpool, Reynolds confirmed that a third film was in development and said it would go in a completely different direction. Reynolds later said that it was considering a road trip film, like after Rashomon, featuring Hugh Jackman's Logan Wolverine. Karen Sono, who portrayed Dobner in the first two Deadpool films, said these plans would explain that the film would have focused on Deadpool trying to save Christmas by going on a road trip to the North Pole. Chapman emphasized a team up with the Reynolds in Spiral 48 Hours, which starred Eddie Murphy. Fuck, I know his name. Sorry. Nick Nolte. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we don't want to talk about his Marvel movie. Hulk, oh gosh. This was definitely better than that. I attended screening of Deadpool 2016, but chose to retire from the role of Wolverine after Logan. I'm talking about Hugh Jackman after, spoiler alert, Logan died. And the Logan 2017 film. Yeah. Oh, this should be part of the X-Men films too, by the way. Let's see. Dang it. Not saying it, but I know it should be part of the X-Men films, yeah. Let's see. Then X-Men First Class 2011, 2013 was the Wolverine, Days of Future Past, so it had to be 7. Apocalypse. Oh, fuck, what was after Apocalypse? Yeah. So let's see. X Men 2000, X-Men United, X-Men 3, Last Stand, X-Men vs. Wolverine, X-Men First Class, The Wolverine, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, Logan, uh, X-Men Dark Phoenix, The New Mutants, and this movie. So I would say 10, 11, 12, probably the 12th film in the X-Men film series. This would be, because New Mutants came out in 2020, I believe. So yeah. And this is also better than that movie. That film was awful. But like I said, Hugh Jackman said he was done with Wolverine, but I guess maybe Reynolds talked to him about it. But Disney officially acquired Fox and gained the film rights to several characters like Marvel Studios, Deadpool, and X-Men. The Marvel-based film of the Fox developed replacing Hulk. Josh Brolin, who played Cable in Deadpool 2, and of course in Thanos in the MCU with an Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, said in June 2019 that he discussed his future as a Cable with Marvel Studios. And October Sassy Bits that she would be surprised if she did not respect her role as Deadpool 2 Domino, which she doesn't in this movie, but that sucks. I did miss her. But she did, well, sadly that year she did the sequel to Joker from 2019, Walking Phoenix or Felix, just look at the 15-minute scene, I think, or 15 seconds in that movie or whatever. Yeah, she did that instead. I'd rather just have her in here. Yeah, and that sequel was awful. But we'll get to that sequel much later down the road. Taking from that, another Deadpool. Yeah, that month, Reese and Warner said that Reynolds was taking a much needed rest from Deadpool. They waited to hear from Marvel Studios about the franchise's future. Taking from that, another Deadpool film will be made. It would be rated lower like the previous films that would interrogate the character with the MCU. Warner said that there was never a set pitch for a third Deadpool film. Reynolds announced that he was meeting with Marvel Studios in October 2019, meeting with Kevin Feige. Of course, he was the president of Marvel, the MCU films. How to interrogate Deadpool. The X-Men and mutants in general into the MCU. He described Reynolds an idea machine. who pitched many different approaches for the film, including a low-budget road trip film with Deadpool and Dubner compared to independent films, and one clearly danced number with Wolverine set to Elton John's I Guess That's What They Call the Blues. Reynolds also pitched his previous idea for a Rashomon his team up Wolverine. So it would kind of be like a buddy team up movie, basically. Or crossover film, if you will. They said they would not be possible to include Wolverine. Reynolds said the whole team was developing a Deadpool film at Marvel Studios. Reynolds and Marvel Studios met with writers throughout October 2020, including Wendy Malux and Lizzie Malux Lodgen. I'm sorry. Their pitch aligned with Reynolds and Marvel's intentions for the film, and the pair were hired the next month. Reynolds and the studio were open to Leach returning as director, but it met with them about it, but scheduling preventing him from returning because he was filming a movie called The Adam Project with director Sean Levy. Reynolds asked Levy about working together on the next Deadpool film. Levy was enthusiastic about it, but basically before saying that he agreed. He does direct this film. Feach said that Reynolds was surprising the writing process and his busy schedule meant filming would not begin after 2021. It was for like action scenes set song like A Prayer by Madonna. It was intended to follow the death of Colossus, which would have motivated Deadpool after being a low point. Reynolds and Taki promoted their film Free Guy, also directed by Levy. Marvel characters Deadpool and Crow will often break the fourth wall. Discussed to join the MCU and Korg in a commercial. Next month, the feature said the filming will begin in 2022. Uh, Beats and Rob Denley especially returning for Deadpool 2, characters Domino and Peter Wisdom. Beats only did not return, which sucks, but like I said, I think she was working on Joker 2 at the time. You know, she was in that, yay, and that was such a great sequel. Sorry. Levy was revealed to be directing the film in March 2022. Said the film would not begin until March 2022 due to busy schedule through the remainder of the year. Yeah, it could have been due to COVID-19 and movies were still getting delayed. I think at this time because of COVID. They said they were excited to use MCU elements. That Disney more were supportive of Deadpool making meta jokes about the MCU because of the success of the Deadpool films. Raymond Chan was revealed to be the production designer after working on The Falcon and Winter Soldier. A month later, featured the film will be from the first two, celebrated from the first two movies, or third installments like Captain America Civil War, Thor Ragnarok, and Avengers Infinity War. Levy and Reynolds worked on the script with Reese. Previously worked on the Marvel Studios miniseries She-Hulk Eternal Law, which I don't like, and Marvel Zombies, and the Marvels from 2023, which did not do well at the box office. They all came to feel that they did not have an original story that was not the other Deadpool films. Levy said that the film had to be deserving of being the first Deadpool film set with the MCU while still feeling grounded because it's Earth-ground, gritty, realistic superhero franchise. Levy and Reynolds were prepared to suggest to Feige they could not move forward at the time. Executive producer Wendy Jackson was also included to settle on the score of the idea of the story. Hugh Jackman reached out to Reynolds about wanting to be a part of the film. Reynolds was preparing for a meeting with Feige, how to proceed given their lack of story ideas. They include Wolverine would solve many of the issues they were coming up against. Jackman had a change of heart. After being in contact with his decision to retire as a Wolverine for several years, they had to team up with Reynolds because it'd be much fun. Apart from the fun of that movie than anything I've ever done. Feige advised Jackman not to return as he felt Wolverine's death in Logan was the greatest ending in history. He did not want time to do that. He was convinced the idea of Jackman portraying a new version of the character, multiverse, which they do throw the multiverse in the story in here. September 2022, Reynolds announced that Jackman returns to Wolverine for Deadpool 3, which is set for release on September 6, 2024, alongside Feige and X-Men franchise producer Lawrence O'Donnell, who is the wife of the late Richard Donner who directed Superman the movie, and the Richard Donner cut. Yeah, and she produced she pretty much produced all the X-Men movies, as a producer in all the X-Men movies. Reynolds and Levy were producing through the production companies Maximum Effort and 21 Laps Entertainment. Simon Kinberg was executive producer after producing the previous Deadpool films. Yeah, he's the same guy that directed X-Men Dark Phoenix, but thank goodness they don't let him direct this movie. He would have ruined it. He would have ruined Deadpool, in my opinion. He ruined X-Men with Dark Phoenix. Yeah, he said the new film had authority by Levy Reynolds that they all care deeply about Logan and Deadpool and Wolverine. Reynolds and Chapman said they would avoid affecting the events of Logan through the multiverse story. They said Logan's legacy was too powerful for the creative team, and that the legacies of Deadpool and Wolverine inform the story and themes. Jackman reached out to Logan director James McGowan to inform him of the story, and he was both enthusiastic about the idea, but that Logan would be not impacted, which it wasn't. Jackman said the film may not be titled Deadpool 3 with himself. Levy, they said Deadpool Wolverine, which of course became Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah. As the title we know, the film will become Deadpool Wolverine. Pre-production began by October 2022, 2 months after Jackman decided to join. Jackson said that he was Jacobson said this was one of the fastest turnarounds that she has seen for a big production. It's pushed back to November 8, 2024. In December, Levy said filming is set to begin in May 2023. Patrick Stewart, who portrayed Charles Xavier in Spider-Man role Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, said further that he had been approached to make an appearance in the film. But Levy later denied that there were plans, any plans for Stewart to return. Well, Ian McKellen doesn't, neither does Holly Berry or Frankie Jimenez. They don't, or James Morrison. They don't have cameos in this movie, you know, which is fine. But there were scheduling issues, but Wolverine does mention them in this film. In March, the Time Authority elements from the MC television series Loki were rumored to be appearing. Leslie Hugman comes back as Blind Owl. Monica Bellucci comes back as Vanessa. Stefan comes back as Colossus. Robert Downey comes back as Peter from Deadpool 2. Lewis said developing the film was one of the most fun experiences of his career. It's awareness, violence, and foul language. He did not want to alter the person's DNA and call the new film raw, very much rated R. Compared to the buddy comedy film like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Midnight Run. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. John Hughes movie with Steve Martin and John Candy. Midnight Run was with the late Charles Grodin and Robert De Niro. That starred in that movie. Yeah, it was revealed when a version of the script was published in award season. Disney's so cheap. I can barely breathe with all this Mickey Mouse cock in my throat. Change the fuck now. Disney gets cheap. Like Pinocchio jammed his face in my ass and started lying, licking crazy. Yeah. And I do remember when we got this picture, we're going to see Wolverine in his suit finally. Chevy wears a yellow and blue costume, similar to the X-Men anime series. And because Wolverine does wear that suit in the comics. So, Chevy did not wear this though it was the reason he didn't because it was probably considered silly at the time. You know, you had movies like the Turbo Power Rangers movie, or Steel, or Batman and Robin. Even though like Batman and Robin, you had the bat nipples, and I guess those costumes in those movies in 1997 were ridiculous. So they probably were like, no, no silly suits or anything. That's probably why. That's what I'm guessing. The film was therefore an opportunity to see Jackman in comic accurate costume for the first time. Yeah, but 2000 they did it for a different reason. You know, it was just a different time. The reason they didn't add it in. They went through several iterations and finished to get their suit right. Jackman said putting on the suit looked so right and felt so right. He questioned why he had not worn such a costume in previous films. They led some to demonstrate that Jackman was portraying an iteration of the character from the one he portrayed in the X-Men film series. Reynolds also had an updated costume from the previous Deadpool film, featuring a brighter shade of red and larger blaster Reynolds mask. This is the character's complex design from the 90s. Levy was pleased with the overwhelming positive response to the suit designs. Filming began on May 22nd, 2023 in Pinewood Studios in England, with the working title Tidal Wave. Sorry, Rachel, sorry, I'll stop. Sorry. George Raymond served as the cinematographer of the film. George Connell was the supervising stunt coordinator and second unit director. Levy worked with Mark Studios and the producers of the Netflix series Stranger Things. The production was not expected to be impacted on the 23rd Road Scale of America that began in May. Reynolds began unable to construct the script during filming as he had done for the previous films. Robert Studios was fully planning to shoot with the photography and making necessary writing adjustments because of reshoots. Filming for a car crash took place in London. Rose Gentleman filmed scenes in Norfolk soon after. Filming was set to resume following the conclusion of the dual Hollywood strikes. The film with others that midway through production started the strikes our top priority. Reynolds announced that the character Deadpool would appear, played by dog actor Peggy. During filming, though, we did bring some characters back. There are spoilers in this review, by the way. Jennifer Garner reported appearing as Elektra. Uh, she played the character in Daredevil and Elektra from 2005, which is a shitty film. But I was good to see her back in here. She got to practice with the katanas again, like she did in the first two movies, especially Daredevil, where she would practice with the katanas. I think Jennifer Garner's her way doing it, just one more right, one more right, one more right, where she would practice with the katanas. They had Sabretooth the Toe would also appear. Sabretooth played by Tyler Mane from the first X-Men movie from 2000, and John Farrell came back as Happy Hogan. Wesley Snipes came back as Blade. Chris Evans came back, not as Cap, but Human Torch. Remember, before he was Captain America, he was the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four movies from 2005 and the 2007 sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer. And Aaron Stanford reprised his role as Pyro from X2 and X-Men Last Stand. I'm glad he didn't have a stupid blonde-looking hair like he did in the third movie. The film's copyright filling February 2024 confirmed Garner's role, Corin to be playing Cassandra, the twin sister of Charles Xavier. They showed the comic character Mephistos, who introduced in the MCU, have been the subject of fan speculation as the main antagonist. This change was Jackman suggested using Cassandra due to Wolverine's relationship with Xavier. And then you have Mr. Paradox, who's another villain in this film. Vinnie Jones and Jason Filmer asked to aspire their roles as Juggernaut and Hazel, but they cannot agree upon. I do like Jason Filmer in the movie, but I'd rather see him in I like him in League of Strong Gentlemen more as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Terry Crews, was in talks about returning from Deadpool 2, but it didn't go anywhere. But I would suggest their fate be left unknown for a moment to add suspense. Blake Lively, some of her Reynolds children have voice cameos as versions of Deadpool, and she also plays Lady Deadpool in here. Yeah. And you also have Kidpool in here. His Adam Project co-star Walker Skull did the voice for Kidpool, but in production his voice changed too much, so he was replaced by Reynolds' daughter. Then you have Reynolds did the voice for the Cowboy Pool before Matthew McConaughey agreed to do the voice of the character. Jokes about the cast were cleared them, including a script joke about Gardner's divorce with Ben Affleck, and a prior joke about Chapman's divorce. The writers planned to have Robert Downey Jr. come back as Tony Iron Man, but he turned down after rereading the scene. Yeah. And you have Channing Tatum coming as Gambit in this film, so. And I forget the actress's name, Devon Kane as Laura from Logan comes back as well. Yeah. They did want to bring back Daredevil, but that didn't happen. And they did want to bring back Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider, but that didn't happen either. Miles Teller. You do get, you know, with the increase, which I'll mention later. Yeah. The film, Industrial Light and Magic did visual effects. Framestore base effects, did some visual effects for the film. And for the music score, though, Rob Simpson did the music score. You do have songs in this movie, like you got some of those rap songs in here. Like Only You and Only You Alone, Bye Bye, Angel of the Morning, Slash, Glamorous, Iris, I'm a Ramblin'. Basically, like 18 songs in this movie. And for the marketing, I love the marketing of this film. I mean, the teaser I thought was brilliant for this film. The one thing they do show you at the end teaser, they show Deadpool on the ground, like, okay, that's enough, and like Wolverine using his claws. They don't even show the suit. They didn't show Wolverine in the teaser, which is nice. But then for the second trailer and the final trailer, you got him. For this movie was heavily marketed too. It had a lot of people marketing. It had a lot of product placements. Or a lot of marketing for the film was used for this movie. Yeah, you had a Wolverine, you know, popcorn buckets. Yeah, popcorn buckets. Wolverine. They had. I'm guessing it was part of this movie, maybe, but I think they did have a Deadpool and Wolverine like Coke or whatever. Yeah, or Coca-Cola got involved. Uh, for Xbox like game consoles. Yeah, Wolverine. Yeah, Deadpool. And the movie Dave and Buster's did something for it as well. Like Dave and Buster's, Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, and like I said, Super Bowl trailer and the trailers and stuff. They had Deadpool and Wolverine, ketchup and mustard. Like I said, a lot of marketing for this film. They had Deadpool and Wolverine, Jack in the Box, where Deadpool was, Jack in the Box, yeah, with Reynolds doing, playing Deadpool in the commercial. And you had Deadpool and Wolverine, Old Spice, which is like Axe or, when men take showers, what we put on our bodies and stuff. Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah. Then you had Heineken, yeah, yeah, which is a Deadpool and Wolverine drink. Then you had Deadpool and Wolverine pizza, yeah, the pizza there. Just showing you these pictures. Okay, let's get to the cast of the film now. For the cast of the movie, you have Ryan Reynolds coming back as Wade Wilson Deadpool, a wisecracking mercenary from Earth 105 with healing abilities, healing by scarring over his body after trying to fight cancer. Ryan Reynolds has been doing movies for quite a bit. Like the movies like Just Friends, which he was good in. And of course, the first two Deadpool movies. And of course, X-Men vs. Wolverine, but we don't want to talk about that because that film was awful. That movie screwed Deadpool over. He was a male nurse in Harold and Kumar. And of course, played Trinity, so he gets to work with Wesley Snipes again. I do believe there were pictures behind the scenes. You see, if you look up the film itself, behind the scenes, you'll probably see Ryan Reynolds and um, Wesley Snipes taking a picture together. There's a picture of them on probably, yeah, picture of them behind the scenes, pictures of the cast and stuff. Because they did Blade Trinity again. I still think Blade Trinity sucks. Sorry. That's just my opinion, though. And of course, Detective Pikachu. He's done quite, and Free Guy. He's done quite a bit of movies for his career. Hugh Jackman as Logan Wolverine. He's been playing this character since 2000. Starting with the first X-Men film, X-Men United, X-Men Last Stand, Origins of Wolverine, the Wolverine Logan. Had a cameo in X-Men First Class as Wolverine, and a cameo in X-Men Apocalypse as well. Just cameos in those films. Australia, The Prejudice, Van Helsing, Swordfish, co-starring with that and Holly Berry, who also starred with him in the X-Men movies, and Real Steel, and of course X-Men Days of Future Past, and Logan. Yeah, yeah, and had a small part in Night at the Museum 3, Secret of the Tomb. Hugh Jackman, I mean. Even a Corrin as Cassandra. I mean, it would. telekinetic and telepathic powers, who was the twin sister of Charles Xavier. I thought she did pretty good. I can't think I've seen her in any other movies. Nope. Monica Benucci, I can't, as Vanessa, Wade's former fiance. I just remember her based in the TV show Gotham as Lee Tompkins and the first two Deadpool movies, but TV series like, she's done a couple other movies. I'm sure a bit of other movies too. Yeah. But mainly it was Deadpool movies and the TV show Gotham as as Leslie Tompkins, the love interest for Jim Gordon, who Ben McKenzie is actually her husband in real life, I believe. So Rob Delaney as Peter Wisdom, who is from the first Deadpool movie. I mean, second Deadpool movie. Sorry, he did Tom and Jerry Twins for more, which I haven't seen, but I just remember him in the first Deadpool movie. Leslie Adams as Blind Out, Wade's Blind. Yeah, she's been doing movies like since 1962. Can't think I've seen anything, but she did play Blind Al in Deadpool 1 and 2 and in this movie. Aaron Stanford as Pyro. I said he played Pyro in X2, X United, and X Men Last Stand. Yeah, sorry. Back to the cast. Sorry. Matthew Maffei as Mr. Paradox. Death at a Funeral, Frost Nixon. Grindhouse, Robin Hood from 2010. I think did that start Russell Crowe? Yeah, it did. Okay. You have Kieran Seven as Governor. Oh yeah, Deadpool 1 and 2. He was that the the Indian guy, the taxi driver who would say, "Mr. Deadpool, I want to be an assassin." I thought he was a funny character. You have Brainy Hedron as Teenage Warhead. Yeah, coming back in here from the first two movies. Yokio, hi Yokio. Yeah, coming back from the second movie. Stephanie Cup as the voice of X-Men member Clausius. Tyler Mane does come back as Sabretooth. David Keane as Laura. Jennifer Garner did come back as Elektra, restoring her role from Daredevil 2003 and Elektra from 2005. And then Wesley Snipes comes back from Blade, starting Blade 1998, which Blade was the. It's probably the reason we get these MCU movies. It's because of Blade, because that was probably Marvel's big success film. It pretty much was at the time, I would say, and Blade 2 and Blade Trinity. Yeah. And Chris Evans coming back, as Johnny Storm, Human Torch. Aaron Reed plays Juggernaut. I think he does better than Vinnie Jones. His voice didn't annoy me. I'm the, do you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Annoying. I would have liked to see Jason Floyd maybe as Ace, but that's fine. Carter Small as Bullseye, which I'm sorry, I do prefer Colin Farrell, but that's just me. Blake Lively did the voice of the Lady Pool. Children of Children, Ennis Olin did the voices of Kid Pool and Baby Pool. Nathan Fillion did the voice of Head Pool. Matthew McConaughey voiced Cowboy Pool. Harry Holland, Tom Holland's brother, of course, Tom, who plays Spider-Man, Peter Parker in the MCU, plays Harold Pool. Chris Hemsworth does have archive footage from Thor: The Dark World, and you have cameo appearances from also Henry Cavill as a Wolverine from a different version. Of course, y'all should know he played Superman, Clark Kent, and Man of Steel, the DCU movies that we don't have longer have anymore. All right, and the film was rated by Sean Levy. Can I say his name right? No, I'm just kidding. I think I did. He directed films like Big Fat Liar, Just Married, She Brother Dozen 1 and 2, Night at the Museum movies with Real Steel, which also starred Hugh Jackman. And Star Wars Starfighter. Okay, I guess a new Star Wars movie coming out. It's written by Ryan Reynolds himself. Reese, who wrote G.I. Joe Retaliation, Cruel Intentions 3, Clippers Really Big Movie, uh, Zombieland, Deadpool 1 and 2 in this movie. Paul Warnock, who also wrote Zombieland, and G.I. Joe Retaliation, Life, Ghosted, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Zeb Wells, he also wrote scripts for films like Robot Chicken, well, I guess some animated, well, never mind, not animated movies, but animated cartoons and stuff like Robot Chicken, based on Marvel Comics, produced by Kevin Feige, who's been producing these movies since the first Iron Man movie. But he also worked on a lot of the other, well, he was a production assistant on Volcano and You've Got Mail. Not superhero movies. One's a disaster movie, the other's a romantic comedy film. Volcano stars Tom Lee Jones. Disaster film You've Got Mail stars Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And he was a producer on the first X-Men movies, in Spider-Man 2 and 3, and some of the X-Men trilogy films, Fantastic Four movies. I'm talking about way before the MCU came out in 2008, starting with the first one, Iron Man, way before. Lawrence O'Donnell, like I said, she's also, producing many of the other X-Men films. She produced Free Willy, Free Willy to the Adventure Home. Yeah. Like I said, she is the wife of the late Richard Donner, who directed Superman the movie, and that movie is the reason we get superhero movies today. Mr. Mom, Lady Hawk, St. Elmo's Fire, Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton, that's a good movie. Cinematography is by George Richmond. He did cinematography from like The High, Ghost Machine, Kingsman: The Secret Service, Unlocked. Edited by Dean Zimmerman, who did editing for films like Rush Hour 3, Jumper, Punisher, Warzone. Ugh, another Marvel movie. That movie sucked, I thought. Night of the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian, Real Steel, starring Hugh Jackman, The Internship, The Adam Project, Free Guy, also Ryan Reynolds movies. Jane Shield, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Saturday Night. I think that was a movie that came out this year, kind of based on like Saturday Night from the 70s. Music's by Rob Thompson. They do musical films like 500 Days of Summer, The Age of Adeline, Gifted, The Only Living Boy in New York, Tully, The Way Back was okay. That was with Ben Affleck. Yeah. Music, production companies are Rock Studios, Maxim Mefford, Film Labs Entertainment. It's distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. The film was released July 26, 2024, last year and here in the U.S. The film is 128 minutes long. About 2 hours and 8 minutes, I think. I would say, yeah, 2 hours and 8 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, 2 hours and 8 minutes. But honestly, that's not so bad. The film did not really feel that long to me at all. The budget to make the movie was 200 million. The box office had made 1.338 billion dollars worldwide because it was Deadpool and Wolverine. It was going to be rated over. Like I said, this movie, the marketing, the trailers are really good for this film, and the marketing was crazy for this movie. I'm sure at the time. Yeah, it grossed 1.8 million dollars. It became the second highest grossing film of 2024, the highest grossing rated film ever, 20th century highest grossing film ever at the time of its release. Reynolds says he doesn't know when he's going to betray Deadpool again. So I don't know. This could be the third and final Deadpool film. We'll see. I'm doubting it though, but again, I could wait for a couple more years. We don't really need to rush. If they're gonna end Deadpool here, I'm fine with it. Anyway, now let me get to the plot synopsis of the movie really quick. And if you've not seen the first two Deadpool movies or Deadpool and Wolverine, do not watch this review. If you have not seen, and sorry for this, if you have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine, turn this review off right now. I know we're in 39 minutes, and I'm gonna get to the plot synopsis. I'm gonna talk about the movie itself, with some quotes, and give you my final thoughts and opinion on the movie. Quite 9 o'clock, and we're in 40 minutes. Okay, so the plot synopsis is that with the third film is that Wade Wilson, Deadpool, he is like retired now from being Deadpool. You know, he's got like a wig on. He's retired. He's working to be a car salesman. He doesn't want to be Deadpool anymore. He just up and quit basically. But Deadpool's his peaceful resistance though comes crashing down when the time variance authority, led by Mr. Paradox, recruits him to help safeguard the multiverse. He soon unites with his old B pal Wolverine, but from another version, to complete the mission and save his world. His friends like Vanessa and Peter are blind out on all them clauses, and yeah, all his friends are gonna die in his universe. So Deadpool wants to save them, but meanwhile they have to go to a place called. So he brings in Wolverine from another version. This Wolverine with the yellow suit on, you know, we do see his mask too, to help him out, you know, so that he wants to save his world too. He was Wolverine that screwed up in his world, and a lot of his people died. So they're working together, and they have to go up against Cassandra, a woman named Cassandra. Sorry, who is the sister of Charles Xavier, Patrick Stewart's character from the X-Men films, and they have to take her on, and they also have to stop her from destroying time. So they both have to become heroes at the end. They both have to take on this enemy, and Cassandra's a real big threat. She's a very powerful villainess. They also team up with some other Marvel characters like Elektra, Wolverine's daughter Laura, Elektra, right? Blade, and Gambit, and the Human Torch, Chris Evans. They have to team up with all of them. They have to save the universe. They have to save the entire universe. Pretty much save the world, you know, from being destroyed by Cassandra. Meanwhile, you know, a lot of comedy and humor is going by, a lot of blood and gore, and a lot of heads roll along the way. And we see a lot of other versions of Deadpool, but that's the plot for you. Yes, it's very absurd, but that's this movie. Yeah, and that's the plot synopsis for you. Now we'll talk about the movie. Like I said, if you've never seen Deadpool and Wolverine, if you've never seen this film, please turn the review off for your own sake. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna talk about the movie itself. So again, if you've not seen the movie Deadpool and Wolverine, turn the review off right now. I think it might be on Disney Plus, but definitely buy this movie. I highly recommend it. You should see it. See it. Trust me. If you love the first two Deadpool movies, you'll love this. Yeah. But anyway, so the movie opens up with Deadpool, and like in a future timeline, it's like he's in the movie Logan, but just in a different version. And you know the character Deadpool, we know that he breaks the fourth wall. He's like, "Hi there, everybody." He's like, I know y'all been seeing me a long time, but there was a long thing with Disney and 20th Century Fox going on. But Disney got me, and he buries a body. He buried Logan's body from that universe. The Logan 27 from 2017 that died. He's like, "Oh, he's dead." And he's like, he's breaking. He's getting mad, and he's using Wolverine's corpse. You have the time people. The TAA, whatever you want to call them. They come up, and Deadpool. You see blood and gore. We get the opening credits, which is real nice. And nice music going on, and he's fighting these guys off. And you see him with a knife and sword. His sword just cutting the guy. Wolverine Deadpool was just fighting them, and then we see the title. Then we get back to Deadpool was like, wait a minute, let's go back to the first part. You start with he's meeting with Happy Hogan, John Favreau. He's like, yeah, I liked it when he was just. And this is my second time saying. I'll read some quotes from the movie later, but he's like, I really want to join up. I want to be an Avenger. I just need the Avengers. Well, people were here to help the Avengers, you know. Then you got pictures like of Tony Stark. You see the Iron Man suit. You see Cap's shield. I think they even have like Loki's helmet or something like that. But he tells them, no, it doesn't work well though. They doesn't really work well with the team, except the X Force, which got killed, most of them. It was just Peter and Domino, I think, that survived. Yeah. But he tells them no. But since Happy's not impressed, he gives Happy a hug, you know, says, I'm gonna miss you, Happy, but you're a different part of this. Then he puts like a wig on and he's like a car salesman working with Peter. Yeah. So he quits his life as Deadpool, starts working at, you know, he also breaks up with Vanessa. We do see like original, like, basic Cassandra, you know, digging into his past, but, you know, using her fingers. Well, I'll get to that later, but she's ever digging into his past. You find out that they had a breakup after he saved her life. He says not to be Deadpool no more, and the relationship just breaks apart, and they break up. And he's working there, working at yeah, like I said, he's got this. As you probably seen in the trailer, though, he's got the wig on, and Peter's like, "Well, maybe you quit Deadpool." Like, I'm not Deadpool anymore. I quit. I'm done with that life. And he doesn't sell his car on the first day because first swears in front of the kids, which I just thought was funny. And he sees somebody like taking a picture of him, and apparently, you know, Vanessa's there throwing a party. He says, "Vanessa, how you doing?" She's like, "I'm good. I got promotion on my job." She's like, "Well, yes, I am." They didn't get out my work. You're like, "Oh." And so, you know, he's like, "Hey, Yogi," you know, talking closets, just talking to his friends. You know, at Blind Owl and just having a birthday party for him. Then all of a sudden he gets knocked at the door, and like, wait, what's going on? I was like, wait. And of course he gets smart with him. He's like, we don't do pecking here. Disney's not used to pecking. You know, when he winked at the camera, that was funny. They grab his wig, they just chop it off. But the TVA, I'll just call it TVA, not the Time Fairness Authority, TVA show. The TVA shows up, they grab him, they capture him at his apartment. Mr. Ferris beats him, he offers him a proper place on this care timeline. He's like, you want to matter? You want to be part of the Avengers? I'm giving you a chance to be a hero. He's like, okay, I'll accept it. He's like, I'm the Messiah. I'm the Marvel Jesus. And then he runs the camera a little bit, people like, he's like this, suck it, fuck. You know, you know, suck it, fuck. I'm with Marvel now. I'm with Disney now. So get fucked. You know, which I thought was funny. And since he's offered him to, you know, be part of the timeline, they also get him a new suit. And the tailor checks his suit. Taylor like whoops his butt and touches his crotch half the time. He's like, "You're great. Your Taylor's a predator, but I think he likes it." You know. Then he says at this point, he's like, "Oh, you're getting turned on by looking at me, aren't you?" Mm-hmm. You know, and this is the time Revenant. But you find out Mr. Paradox has a different plan. Paradox tells him that the universe is on the brink of dying due to losing an anger being that holds reality together. Due to him, you know, I told him first when he goes in Deadpool 2, time ago where he stole Cable's machine or his like chip or whatever, his time device or whatever, and went back in time and saved Vanessa from dying in Deadpool 2. Yeah. He also mentions Wolverine, you know, who died protecting X-23 and Logan. He's planning to speed up the destruction of Wilson's universe by using the Time Ripper. And, you know, Deadpool didn't agree to take his mask off. He's like, no, you're not going to destroy my universe. I'm not going to let you do this. He even punches him in the face. He's able to get their like time device or whatever and get away. So that he's about to lose out from Deadpool goes against them and decides to find Wolverine save the universe. He sees like a midget and a Wolverine, which is funny, and a Wolverine that's like on the cross like Jesus, and a Wolverine like on the streets that he fights, and also Wolverine that is as a cameo by Henry Cavill, you know, who punches him out of the way like get out of here, pub, until he meets this Wolverine in this universe, this Logan, who pretty much got all his X-Men members killed and is depressed. His life is going to shit too. Has been poor. His life sucks too. Just like almost ways there's not being Deadpool anymore. You know, but it's like just leave me alone. I just want to drink a beer. But nobody likes him. His Wolverine people despise him. Yeah. Oh, he does fight off the Minutemen, the TVA security officers. Yeah, he fights them off. The, the one that gets smart with them, Deadpool is able to get off the dead one, get it off of his skull hands, his skeleton hands. Fight some guys, slap some guys, it's and balls, and it's like, get stuff like shit, gets off finally. And the last guy that gets smart is like, I really don't like you. He's like, tosses the knife sword at him in a pretty cool way and kills the guy. I mean, that's what you expect Deadpool, just killing guys with a sword, being smart, and he's like dancing too. You know, Deadpool was like twerking too, which again I thought was hilarious. By killing these guys off. Then when he meets Wolverine, though, this Wolverine, he, pretty much, he's like, why don't you just go ahead and shoot me? And drinks a beer. He's like, passes out. Takes him to TVA. He's like, you see, this is the Wolverine I'm going to use. Like, this Wolverine is known for destroying his world, you idiot. But he's still going to use him. You know, Paradise still laughs about it, saying that he replaced an anger being impossible. Also, that he managed to bring the worst Wolverine to ever exist. Deadpool then knows that he's acting out of the authorization of TVA. They don't know what he's up to. The people that he works for, like his boss, doesn't know what he's doing. So he sends them to the void. Yeah. And before they can find out where they're at, you see like a 20th Century Fox sign. He's like, well, goodbye, Fox. And he's like, you're Wolverine. He's like, well, I need your help, man. I need your help. Team up. We need to team up help because I need your help to save my world. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Is what Wolverine says. I don't give a fuck. He says that. He's like, he's like, you screwed up your own world. You couldn't even save your own. And they get mad. Oh, yeah, this is what the audience has been waiting for. Wolverine get his claws out with his suit. Which Deadpool was like, it better take 20 years to get this suit. But, you know, they start fighting. He's like, come on, Bob, let's freaking go. And he's getting his, guns loaded up. They're shooting each other, fighting with swords and stuff, which I thought was cool. Seeing Deadpool and Wolverine just fighting was awesome. But eventually they stopped because Deadpool was able to talk some sense into him. He tells them that they make it back to TV, they could change his past as well, and so he agrees to it. Yeah. Then they end up meeting Johnny Storm, who, he thinks is Captain America, well, in the MCU version. And then you see this Scribble Scavengers, led by Sabretooth and also Pyro, Tyler Mane, and Aaron Stanford from the original X-Men movies. Tyler Mane, just looking at him, and you know, he's like, all right, he's gonna say Avengers Assemble, and he's like, Flame on's like, what? He flames on and tries to use his powers on, but Pyro was able to like absorb his fire and take him down. And Sabretooth is gonna fight Wolverine, and Dick was like, your brother. Probably mocking, making fun of the movie North Wolverine. But they fight, but he chops his head off pretty quickly. Yeah. Pyro and Toad then manage to capture the three of them, bring them along on their to their base. It's a giant chorus of Ant-Man, and they ask Johnny, well, where are we at? You're in the void. This is like hell barrier. For us, this is like for heroes like people. Comic book characters like us. This is a hell version. We don't like it here. It's either you die here or you become a slave to Cassandra, saying that she's a mad narcissist or whatever like that, a mad woman. And of course, Deadpool and Wolverine eventually meet her, and they just tell her we want to go home. And she's like, no, you're not going home. You're going to be my slaves or something like that. Yeah. But she was banished to the void. She likes being there for her own satisfaction. She can kill whoever she wants and do whatever she wants. She's like kind of like the queen of the void, if you will. Well, and Storm did say some stuff, and then Deborah was like, well, he said this about you and that about you. And literally, she zaps Johnny away. Yeah. She skins him with her telekinesis, killing him just like that. Wolverine tries to attack her, but she's strong enough to put him in the grass. I mean, in the dirt. She can put like her fingers in your head or whatever, like your fingers on you, in you, and she goes into Wash's memories of how he became Deadpool and all the things he's been through, including his breakup with Vanessa. Wolverine like stabs her, but it doesn't work. She also has a healing factor as well. Uses her powers on them. They have this Goliath character who's like a giant dragon, almost a purple dragon, cloud or whatever that comes after you. But they manage to escape. Yeah. So, Deadpool and Wolverine decide to find the resistance and get out of the void. Deadpool keeps on making fun of, him why you wearing the suit if you've ever wear it. Deadpool just runs his mouth. He's like, shut the fuck up. I'll listen to you. Shut up. They do meet other two characters. Like they meet Dogpool and Nicepool, who's just a nice looking guy. He's just really nice. Hi. Oh, hello for daddy. You get Dogpool. You get a song "Lady in the Red" song. Well, yeah. Deadpool was a cute dog. Dogpool was cute. Dogpool. But Nicepool was so nice that he gives them directions to the boys' borderlands and provides them with a car. Deadpool complains about it, but was like, shut up and give him the dog, let's go. And Deadpool slips up that he said he doesn't really know, it was just an educated, stupid guess. And they both fight. He's like, you know what? You were the dumbest motherfucker I ever met in 200 years. I've been living, and you're the dumbest motherfucker I've ever met. You're a nobody. You're just a loser in a costume. And he's like, I want to hit you. He's like, wait, you tongue tied now? And they start fighting, and you get that song, the one that I want from Greece, sung by the late Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. Yeah, they put that song in there when they're fighting. Wolverine and Logan are stabbing each other. They're just going at it all night, fighting until they're past that. Then you have Laura X-23 who comes by. She takes the car. They're in, and yeah. So, Electra attacks Blade at first, again played by Jennifer Gardner. Then you have Blade and Gambit. It's like, I am Gambit. I thought Channing Tatum did real good. I would like to see him in a Gambit movie. He gets mad at Wolverine for drinking his beer. He's like, don't trust him. He's lying to you. When they're talking about that they've been there for a long time. And how they gonna defeat Cassandra? Well, nobody defeat her. She's the baddest bitch ever, Blade says or something like that. And Flash says, I don't give a damn, Deadpool, about your world, but they should team up and fight her. Deadpool was able to convince them to team up, you know, to avenge Storm's death while leaving out the reason why he died. Wolverine refused to join them, so him and XD3, or I'm sorry, Laura have a talk. And she's like, you kept me alive. You did this for me. So trust me, kid, I'm no hero. He's like, I only wear this suit for a reason because I don't want to be part of the team. You know, Cyclops got on to me. Scott. Cyclops, Charles, Storm, Jean. That was when we wore the suit, but they died because of me. And that's why I wear the suit. And it's like I feel a lot of guilt. So I'm sorry, kid. This mission ain't my freaking problem. It's your problem. See you. Yeah. He abandoned his fellow X-Men though because then it resulted in them being killed by the anti-mutant vigilantes. Because then, if you remember the whole thing in X Men 2 when, yeah, that's what we don't like talking about, like, but that's 2 X Men United, when Stryker came to attack, both these mutant soldiers, we call them vigilantes, came and killed them. And Logan's felt guilty ever since. And has been, he's the worst Wolverine in the universe, in his universe. Sorry. Because of it. You know, but he keeps wearing the X Men suit since then. And she's able to tell me, you're still a good person at heart, though, Logan. You are. I know you are. You're a good man, Logan. You are. You gave me. You're the reason I'm alive, and you're the reason I'm here. You gave me a life by protecting me. So Pyro follows Deadpool and Wolverine's tracks, and he tries to deal with Paradox, which says that Nova is too dangerous and must be eliminated. Yeah. So Wolverine just joined the Resistance. So Elektra, Blade, and Gambit. Blade, like, they do talk about the Punishers, like 5 different ones of Blade. Like there's 11 Blade, and that's me. Like, yeah, what's this? Your Blade. He also says a line in the movie that is from the original. You know, some motherfuckers up trying to always up high ice skate hill. I can't say it right, but he says that here too, which is cool to hear. And seeing Electra fighting and Blade fighting together, that was awesome. Seeing Gambit, they take them on in a fight. Gambit, was able to, he's like, boom, blows them up. So that was pretty cool. You know, they're trying, they get Juggernaut's helmet. She knocks Deadpool, subdues Wolverine, knocks Deadpool out. She promises, Wolverine, you have to do it like this. I can take care of your pain. Yeah. She nearly gets to Logan, but eventually Deadpool wakes up as everywhere during his helmet, and they figure her out, and he's like, no, I don't want to kill her. He's like, no, I'm not a killer. I'm not going to do this. And he also tells her, Charles would have found you. He would have found you. He would have helped you. He's like, but she has a serious conversation with Wolverine. Nova tells him, you know, you know, he tells her, he loved you. He's like, he loved us all. He protected us all. That's what Charles did. But she still won't change her ways, of course. Nova also gets shot by Pyro, and he tries to have a conversation. He's like, you know how long I've been waiting for this, and blah blah blah. Tries to have a conversation, and then Wolverine like punches him out. Not everyone deserves a speech, kid. He uses a sling ring having the reality and time stones attached to it from Doctor Strange before the Ado monster from the dragon monster that will attack them. Unless you're never start fighting, they see them like jump in there. They jump to the portal. Nova then forces Power to admit that he tried to kill her. Paradox's orders. Deadpool will make it back to their Earth. Paradox. He's also preparing the time river. Then Nova falls by. Power's like, "Well, we got a problem." She grabs Power by the neck and snaps his neck, killing him. You know, she gets her hands on Paradox. You tried to kill me. It was a big mistake. You know. So Nova tells him that she intends her plans to use the Time Ripper and turn the whole multiverse into the void that she loves so much. So she's going to turn the whole world, the whole universe into a void that she will be like the queen of, basically, and have a bunch of slaves. You know, because in her world, her kingdom, you're either her slave or you either die. You know, and she gets the Deadpool corpse. That is, the skeleton, looking Deadpool head and the baby kid pet, the baby kid one, the baby one, and the lady pool one, the cowboy one, a lot of them. And Nice Pool shows up with the dog and he's like, "Hi," you know, and he kills him on purpose. Well, Deadpool grabs Nice Pool and he's like, "Oh," getting shot out. He's like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, regenerating," bloods you out. He chases him. He's like, "You asshole!" He basically just had him murdered. You know. And he's like, "You won't die. Just say it with me. I won't die." He's like, "Okay, I won't die. I won't die." And then, his head blows off. They blow his head up. He's like, "You murdered him, you dumbass!" And Wolverine puts on his costume. I mean, they put on his mask, and then we see them pow pow fighting them. Get a lot of blood and gore in there. The bus, they jump through the bus. Awesome fight scene. Probably my favorite scene in the movie is just him, Wolverine, putting on his mask, and him and Deadpool fighting the Deadpool corpse from the other universes. Yeah, this was definitely my favorite scene in the movie. So they fight them. They come back to life. They're like, "You try to do it again. Try to fight them again." Then Peter shows up. Is like, "Well, every Deadpool has a dumbass has a version of Peter," and they all listen to Peter. So all the Deadpools give him love, and with them distracted, Deadpool and Wolverine make it to Paradox. Tells them that Never already took control over the Time River. She, Time River. She just got to put her hands in both parts of the machine, and she'll take over completely, destroying universes. It's like you can see time on a loop, and once she like touches that mess up, time will go down, get ruined, and she'll kill millions or just kill a lot of millions, and other millions she'll have in the void to be her slaves. And Wolverine still got his mask on, by which is cool. He's like, and you're like, "Hey man, I really want to order. I've been waiting for this team for a long time." And Deadpool knocks him out. Deadpool was like, he and Joe's just like, "I'm just so nervous about dying." Yeah. There's these chambers. There's both of them. One's orange and the other's blue. But Deadpool can't grab to it, so Wolverine comes in. Of course, you see him shirtless. You see Hugh Jackman shirtless quite a bit of times in these X-Men films, in these movies. But they connect with the chamber with him. They result in the destruction of the Time Ripper. And Nova's like, she blows up. It devours her. You know, and Paradox tries to explain to his boss, that his superior, that he was nothing to do with this. This just randomly happened. Until Deadpool and Wolverine are alive and tell her what he did, and he gets arrested, of course. And she's like, "Peter, yeah, I forgot to mention Peter's got like some strings on his nipples, but okay, anyway, yeah, chains on his nipples, but anyway, just randomly bringing that up. Sorry, I do that in my reviews sometimes, just explain things and just randomly say stuff. So sorry with the nipples on the chain, but anyway, So she says, Deadpool, good job, you saved the world. If we need you again, we'll let you know. When it's like Wolverine, you already saved your past Wolverine. You did good. Then he brings Logan to his home to blind Owl. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they sit down and rest at first. They get the dog and they eat chimichangas, shawarma, just like the Avengers did in the first movie from 2012. Then they go see Blind Owl because he convinces them to, you know, be part of it. Logan encourages him to, talk to Vanessa, and they're just throwing a party at the end, and his family, and, family friends are safe, and he talks to Vanessa about rekindling a relationship, and she seems to, be happy doing that. It seems like they're going to be getting back together, and you know, Wolverine and Logan, they're happy to see their mask on the side or whatever, and everybody lives happily ever after, and that's the end of Deadpool and Wolverine. They save the universe and save the family, and Laura, the daughter's there too, yeah, and that's the end of the film. But then you get, of course, being a Marvel movie, Deadpool defends himself post-credit scene. The T, the TVA, though, office of the footage of Storm actually cursing out Nova, proving that he did not lie about what Storm said. He didn't. Yeah. But anyway, with TVA, he does pretty well. He explains that, see, I didn't lie. And you see it on video, which I thought was funny. And that's the end of Deadpool and Wolverine. Maybe I could read some quotes real quick, guys. Oh, sorry. I know we've been a bit longer review, but couldn't help it. But anyway, holy shit, that's Deadpool and that's Wolverine. You damn sure did. Fox killed him. Disney brought him back, and they're gonna make him do this till he's like 90. I'm about to lose everything that I've ever cared about because the hair of Thundercut from Down Under finally dies, and he's standing right behind me, isn't he? Welcome to the MCU, by the way. You're joining a bit of a low point. Paul Rudd finally aged. I'm tired of these absolutely rumors that I got Johnny killed. Let's look at the tape. In the void, you're the food author or for Alu, or you work for her. Go on, Johnny. She's a medical psychopath asshole, finger licking, dead inside pixie slap of a third-rate demo store with nut milk, and I'll let you tell you what she can do. I almost think she can lick my goddamn cinnamon ring clean and kick all the rocks away to the ball hell. In fact, I don't give a shit if she removes all my skin and pops me like it's some nightmare blood balloon. Last thing I do in this godforsaken dumb gutter existence like that fuck box on fire, I still won't be happy. Holy shit, girl, you're crazy. That's right, Wade. I won't be happy till I'm oriented on her freshly barbecued corpse and husk fucked on the cherry remains, gorging chuggernuts, chuggernuts. Wow. And you can quote me. Okay. There's 206 bones in the human body. 207 if I'm watching Gossip Girl. You're a fucking joke. No wonder why the Avengers didn't take you, or the X-Men, and they don't take fucking anyone. I mean, you are ridiculous, immature, half-wit moron. I've never met a sadder, more attention-starved, jabbering little freaking time I travel life. That says a lot because I've been alive for more than 200 years. You know. And I'll tell you, this bald chick was right about one thing. You will never save the world. You can't even save a relationship with a goddamn stripper. And motherfucker, I wish I could say that you died alone. But it's one of the God's best jokes that's dialogue in the film. You can't die alone. It's one of the God's best jokes that you can't die. So all of us. Oh, you got nothing to say, Mel. I'm gonna fight you now. Oh, you are. Oh my God, he's gonna say it. Say what? Avengers, a flame on. Sorry, what now? Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disney. Suck it, Fox. Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland. I don't know. get, get fucked. All right, all right, guys. Let me get my final thoughts on this movie. I'm gonna be done here. Just give me 5 minutes. No, no. I mean, not 5 minutes, but but I love Deadpool Wolverine. This film was very entertaining. It was cool to see these two team up. I thought this film had a very good story. I like that it dealt with the multiverse. Now we dealt with that with Spider-Man No Way Home. But I still say this is probably the best Marvel film, MCU film. After Endgame, this is the best MCU film, in my opinion. If I had to pick a second, if I had to say second, it would be Spider-Man No Way Home, in my opinion. Yeah, I will still watch this over Thunderbolts, because I don't care about that. I'll still watch over the new Fantastic Four movie. I don't give a shit about that. Yeah. But did I like? I like the story. Uh, Sean Levy did a good job directing. The script I thought was good. The story I thought was very good. You know, the movie knows its tone. It is rated over. It doesn't hold back on the swearing or the blood and gore. There is blood and gore. I do like the action here. You do see them fighting. It is cool to see Wolverine in his suit and wearing his mask. That was just an epic moment. I'm sure people see in theaters. It's just very entertaining. The humor is funny as well. Deadpool runs his mouth a lot, makes it funny. Ryan Reynolds just is still great. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I don't care which version of Wolverine he is. He's always going to be Wolverine. No matter what version of any multiverse he's playing Wolverine, he is Wolverine, just like Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. You know, Lorna Berici, she didn't get a lot of screen time here, but that's fine. But she's Lisa Uckman and Aaron Stanford. Some of the cast come back. It's nice to see them come back for nostalgia reasons. I like what they did with Pyro, that he was more of a bit of a villain and not having blonde hair, but I thought the blonde hair was stupid. But in here, I thought he was good, trying to betray her, and getting killed for it. Chris Evans, I wish they would give him more to do. I hate that they killed Chris Evans off. And the way he uses his powers, you see him flame on. We don't get to see that. I'm like, because it gets taken out easily by power. I'm like, really? And I hated that they killed Sabretooth off like that. I'm like, really? You make him like a wimp? After Sabretooth nearly, if you watch the original X-Men 2000, Sabretooth can put up a pretty good fight with Wolverine. But all it takes is one stab to his throat and he's done. Like, no, come on, watch the original X-Men. You just threw him in there. Sometimes it is throw for nostalgia. But it was actually Blade and Lusher. I wish they would have done a lot more. And I do wish they would have brought back maybe Ben Affleck as Daredevil and Johnny and Nicholas as Ghost Rider. I would love to have seen that. You know, to see them come back. The music was good. The soundtrack is good. The editing, the cinematography is nice. I do love the cinematography of the film. It does have nice cinematography in here. The editing, the action scenes are well shot. I think sometimes the action scenes are like far apart, but you get to see plenty of blood and gore, of flashing and dicing. And the film is only 2 hours and 8 minutes long. It goes by, I thought, at a pretty quick pace. Doesn't bore me at all. The special effects, the visual effects are really good by LM. The visual effects are really good. You know, I like the way Juggernaut looks. He's not like a giant CGI monster like he is in Deadpool 2. Um, but do I like this more than Deadpool 2? Probably not. I don't know. Well, probably do. Probably I think I like this more than Deadpool 2. But to me, the best Deadpool movie is still the first one, in my opinion. This would be second. And again, this is one of the best films of the MCU. It'll be high up in my ranking. And this is to me this is the best MCU film I've seen and doing these reviews since Avengers Endgame. And again, second will be Spider-Man No Way Home. But I don't like the way they killed off Johnny Storm, and making him look weak to die like that. I'm like, you could have done a lot more with him. Michael Cheskis, if they ever brought him back as the thing in his costume, that would have been awesome. I wish they would have brought some more characters back. Again, I didn't mind Gambit. I do like Channing Tatum as Gambit, but you could have maybe saved him for another movie. He had some funny quotes, some funny lines as well. Because I didn't know my daddy. He didn't push me back in his dick. But my mama took me out of the vagina or something like that. He talks funny. Something like that. Kind of like with a certain accent. But I'm like, I'd rather have other Marvel characters than him. I mean, Channing Tatum, I'm not a big on actor. But I did like him as Gambit. Don't get me wrong. I thought he was good. But I'm like, you could save him maybe for another movie. And just for another movie. But not in here. And again, it does throw that nostalgia of these characters. But I thought it was satisfying to see Elektra, Jennifer Garner back in. She was great for a short time in this movie. First seems like she was good, and at least she kind of went out in glory. I would like to see her maybe, if they ever want to make a Elektra movie again in the MCU, they should bring her back in a Blade movie. Bring Wesley Snipes back. There's only one Blade, it's him, Wesley Snipes. There's only one Elektra, Jennifer Gardner. There's only one Deadpool, that is Ryan Reynolds. There's only one Wolverine, Logan, that is Hugh Jackman. In my opinion, you cannot replace these people as these characters. Trying to do it just does not work for me. You know, yeah. Anyway, the movie's very entertaining. It's 2 hours and 8 minutes long. It goes at a good pace. The action, Sean Levy did a great job. Directing, the writing, the script is good. Cinematography, the editing is all good, I thought. And the film is just very fun and entertaining. And it has a good story. It breaks the fourth wall. The jokes work very well. The jokes are hilarious in this movie. And the humor always works. And if he takes a break from Deadpool, that's alright. I don't mind. Sometimes a good years and gaps is good enough to make another great movie. And this film was a huge hit. Made more money than Madam Web. And I'm sure I can guarantee you made more money than Craven the Hunter, Venom the Last Dance, made more money than those. Yeah, Madam Web was a huge flop. Yeah. Even if you're not a big fan of this movie, and to each his own if you're not. But watch Madam Web, watch the Crow remake, watch, Joker Felix, you know, or Craven the Hunter, and Venom the Last Dance. Tell me how those movies are. Because this, in my opinion, is the best live action superhero film of 2024, in my opinion. When it comes to superhero films that came out last year in 2024, the best live action one, in my opinion, that matters is this one. In my opinion, this was the only entertaining one that was actually good and rated R. Craven the Hunter was rated R, but still, that movie sucked. This one was rated R, but it got the characters right. You know, yeah, it did the characters justice. It did the characters right. And, Deadpool's Martin with Mouth. Again, this is not a movie for children. These Deadpool movies are not kids' movies. He is not a children's character. You know, Deadpool can't be PG-13. It doesn't really work with him. Anyway, guys, I can't know what I'm supposed to say, but my rating for Deadpool Wolverine, I'm gonna rate this film 5 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up. So, guys, tell me in your opinion, what do you think of Deadpool Wolverine? In your opinion, do you like it? Do you hate it? How would you rank the Deadpool movies? What's your favorite Deadpool movie? Mine is the first one, but or maybe it's this one, Deadpool Wolverine. I don't know, but I love Deadpool 2 as well. Despite Russell being an annoying kid at times, Deadpool 2 would probably nearly be my favorite because that's good as well. And what do you think of this film in your opinion, guys? What are your thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine? And how would you rank the MCU movies? And what are some of your favorite Marvel movies that are not MCU? That could be live action or animated. Tell me in the comments down below, guys. So stay tuned for the next review. Sorry, I'm hurrying up. I know, I know. Okay, this one came out and well, chapter 1 came out August 13th. It is the 60th film in the DC Universe animated original movies. Which I've never seen before. That the next superhero 2024 superhero review is Watchmen Chapter 1. So Watchmen Chapter 1, that's also a DC movie. So Watchmen Chapter 1 is next. So stay tuned tomorrow for that. And tell me you guys in the comments down below, what do you think of Deadpool and Wolverine in your opinion? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching the review. Hope you guys like my shirt. Have a great night or a good day wherever you're at. Well, it's not time like that. Everybody have a let's freaking go. Bring on the chimichangas. I'm just kidding. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.